actual fuck is this witchcraft? What is this fucking sorcery?
So let's talk about it. A couple of things. Money itself is just a natural sort of placeholder word that just means that it's your immediate exchange for one's labor. That's kind of it. Now, dollars, on the other hand, or fiat currency, that currency that's conjured literally from nothing, is exactly frustrating. It's one of the most frustrating things that probably has ever existed. I mean, it's up there. It's like, it's got to be in the top 3 of most frustrating things that are out there, and it's because it creates a distortion. Anytime you allow any other group of people to conjure money out of nothing, you're going to get these kinds of distortions, because they will eventually enslave everybody. They'll eventually just make everybody running around chasing pieces of paper that they can conjure from nothing. So the trick, of course, is to not allow that. And of course, the way you do that is to not have anything backing your currency. You just find a base element, and that's the currency, for example. So for instance, for thousands of years, people used gold, not gold certificates, not gold notes, but actual gold. And if someone did not have the actual gold for something, then generally speaking, the employee or the person doing the work or something would say, okay, I'm not doing that until I can actually see the color of your money. Until I can actually see the bling, I am not going to lift one finger. I'm not going to burn 1 calorie for you. And unless you can show me the gold and you have the ability to actually pay for this. And this used to be a very well understood thing in the business world in particular, okay? And that's where I come from. And it used to be very well understood that you wanted to make sure that if somebody was making you a bunch of promises, they had the ability to actually make good on those promises. Well, unfortunately, through time, we get used to this idea of other people. We watch and we see other people doing business for these, in this example, these green pieces of paper, and we take it to the store, and the store will take it, and it has value. Yeah, it's because they saw other people doing that. Unfortunately, I've talked about this many times, but you're born into the middle of a movie. You have no idea what's going on when you get here, right? Whoever you are, it doesn't make any difference. And I'm not talking about specifically this content creator. I think she did a wonderful job of compressing the frustration of a lot of people. But what happens is you're born into the middle of this, and you rely on the adults or people in your life to bring you up to speed. And if they themselves don't know what really happened or how they got here, then they're not really going to know either. So that's where we have to start looking around. Like, does anybody know what the fuck is actually going on here? Well, the fastest way when it comes to money, to understanding it, is to say, okay, do you have actual hard currency to pay for this? Gold either weighs or it doesn't. It's either pure or it's not, and you either have it or you don't. That's it. Now, there's better technology that exists nowadays, right? But verification is the single most important thing that people have. A lot of things that have happened over the years, to your frustration, is that we have allowed a bunch of people to just keep conjuring more and more money into existence so they can be rich, right? While everybody else gets to eat inflation. That's the problem. So everybody else who's working, particularly in the West, here in America, and in Western countries, we're eating all of the inflation so that a handful of people can continue to print a bunch of money and remain rich by contrast. That's it. The faster you end that, the faster this goes back to normal very quickly. Actually, the faster everybody goes back to basically kind of poverty, but not the type of poverty you would think that you get after everything collapses. No. It's the type of poverty of realizing that all of that was an illusion to begin with, and those people really didn't have that kind of money anyhow. Most don't. In fact, most of the so-called wealthy people that we think of in this world are just chasing huge amounts of debt. That's all they're doing. An analogy I would give to anybody is if you had $100 million, let's say it's dollars, okay, so or bag of gold, whatever, it doesn't make any difference, okay? If you had all of this wealth, Would you be running around the world trying to figure out how to make even more money? No, most of us would not. Most of us would be like, oh my God, I'm going to use this to go and actually enjoy my fucking life and go do stuff, right? I mean, we might do a few projects here and there, but they're things that we would want to do, right? You know, like maybe we want to build a hot rod, or I'm just using an example. We want to do something kind of interesting. We want to build a new house or something like that. But for the most part, we wouldn't be running around trying to figure out how to constantly keep making more and more money. It's because most of these people aren't as rich as you think they are. They're very rich on paper and they control a lot of debt, but that's all it is. And that's, of course, all the dollar is. The dollar is just a debt instrument. It represents nothing other than somebody's willingness to take on that debt, that dollar debt. For every dollar that's created, somebody has to be first willing to borrow a dollar. And with interest, and with the full understanding that there is no mathematical way to pay any of this interest back. I'm not trying to get too far afield into this, but that's the frustration that you're actually feeling. There is no way to pay any of this back. None. There is absolutely no way to pay any of this crap back at all. It's fake. And it was fake from the beginning. So I hope that kind of helps, but your frustration isn't with money itself. Your frustration is with the type of currency that these people have created and that everybody else continues to go along with. The faster it collapses, the faster, I'm not kidding about this, the faster that collapses and goes away, and it creates this huge amount of devastation among rich people. Because the average American will be benefited greatly by having that go away, because their lifestyle isn't going to change. They're still going to wake up and they're still going to go to work in the morning. The company may change hands. You know, the billionaire, you know, the former billionaire who owned the company you worked for, well, he's broke and probably on the run, you know, people hunting him down. But other business owners, myself included, you know, we're the ones where we kind of swoop in and we buy those assets up for very little money and then make them profitable again, and then raise wages and make the, you know, the company actually healthy long term, as opposed to doing what we see now, which is CEOs, most of them just care about what's going on next quarter so that they can maintain their bonuses, because it's based on stock price, not based on the overall long-term health of the company. I hope that helps.